What's up, everyone? It's Shaletta. I'm here getting a phone for one of my newly minted teenagers with Xfinity Mobile. They've got great options, affordable plans, and solid coverage that works for our whole family. With Xfinity Mobile, my daughter can stay connected with me wherever she goes. And did you know when you sign up, you can get an extra phone line free for a full year? Switch to Xfinity Mobile today for more savings, more smiles, and more ways to stay connected.
It's time to knock some things off your bucket list. First up, travel the world. If you've always wanted to visit Hong Kong or vacation in the Swiss Alps and wondered what it was like, well, Jeanette, Yvette, and Tina got the scoop for you. These jet-setting divas are always at some fun and exotic place experiencing the best of what life has to offer. And each week, they'll tell you all about it. These ladies are always high-flying loads of fun.
Hey, I'm Jeanette.
And I'm Yvette.
And I'm Tina, and we are the Jet Setting Divas. Hey, ladies, what's going on in the world of travel?
Happy New Year! It's a new year.
Oh my gosh, can you
new moves
going by?
Yeah.
It's been an interesting start to our year.
Absolutely, it has.
But I know a lot of things to consider. I think we were talking about PTO. We got to already start planning.
Yeah.
For being
how to maximize your PTO for the year 2025. There are several ways that you can do it. Incorporate, holidays, days that you're off, and just adding 1 or 2 days here and there of your PTO. And it's like you can get 55 days off.
Really?
You can.
Yeah, because you think about if they have like at least 6 or 7 major holidays that are usually paid for by most companies. At least my company, I know they, about 7 days that are paid. And if it falls on a Thursday, look, you can get a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
That's how I'm doing. I've got a trip planned for January during Martin Luther King Jr.'s weekend. So I'll be taking off that Friday and maybe the Tuesday, but I may even just come back and try to work some, make up my time for that Tuesday. And so I'll only use 1 or 2 vacation days.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
What you can do to, have more days off. Mm-hmm. And I have a list of the days for the whole year that you can, schedule your days for. And I'm going to be posting that on our social media. Okay. So if you're interested in knowing, just go to, Jet Setting Divas on Facebook and Instagram. And so that you can, figure out how to maximize your days and go on vacation this year.
Yeah. Get as many trips as you can.
How do you maximize those days? Like, say, for instance, this year, New Year's Eve fell on a Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And definitely, I know a lot of companies let you off like New Year's Eve, that Tuesday. And do you take your time to say, I'm just gonna be off Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, and then go back to work on Thursday, or do you take the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
I think it's up to you what you do, but a lot of people really, if you want to maximize it, just save the days and take the whole week. that would be a nice thing. Yeah, take up the whole week.
But it just depends, because like if you haven't used some of your, like a lot of people, what they do is they work, and they don't use their PTO. And then it depends on who you work for. Either you use it or you lose it.
Yeah.
But if you think about the Monday and Tuesday was in 2024. Thursday,
yeah, you're right.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you may have some extra days for today, Thursday and Friday. Yeah. Now you can, use those and have a whole week off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what I've also done during to utilize my PTO is like in certain months, like if it's the summer, sometimes I'll just take my time as every Friday. So every Friday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like the month of June and July. So that runs into probably about 8 days or something like that. And that helps give me long weekends throughout the summer, or work 4 days, or actually sometimes just do with that compressed time, like do 4 10-hour days.
Mm-hmm.
Or something. And just have an extra without using my PTO, but having a day off. So that also works for me.
So what do you think people do when they plan a vacation and then they ask for PTO, and then they're declined the PTO. They can't go. What do y'all suggest?
Sometimes, if you're really a serious traveler like we are, you're probably not going. It just depends on where you're going. You might just have to just say, I have to go. Some people lose their jobs behind not going, honestly.
Yes.
They
like, what do you do?
Or you don't go. But you know what? I think those are the people who need to make sure that if they get the time off before they start purchasing anything. So if I'm going to be in a pool with 10 other people and it's like a lotto of who's going to be off, I'm not buying plane tickets. I'm not buying event tickets. I'm not buying hotels, nothing, or cars until I know that I have my time off, because that's a lost money, or at least, that you really don't need.
You do have to be careful. And then sometimes people change jobs. So if you're changing a job, what I would say is that you let them know upfront during the interview process, or when you get ready to accept the offer, that I already have this vacation time set up and I want to make sure that this is approved because I've already paid for this trip. We'll be off during this time.
Okay, yeah. And I'm probably going to be more of, if you are in a role or position where you are asking for time off, and I get that that's a role that some people have, those are kind of, you have to plan a year ahead. See, we don't plan, we might plan 2 months out, maybe out. But if you are in a role where you can't do that, then you need to know, I want to always be off in November, or we always take a family vacation in October. You have to already start the beginning of the year off saying, I want these 3 weeks off, and then push your plans to be in those 3 weeks that you're going to be, because certain positions that you're in, if you're in the service industry, or if you're in some place that requires that you phone at a certain period of time, or tax season, those type of roles, you already know you're not going to be able to take time off at certain periods in a year. And I would just say that you need to know what your status is at your company. If I've been there 20 years and I ask for Christmas holiday off and y'all tell me no, I'm probably going to be quitting soon. I'm telling you, I will.
Yeah, I need to be flexible. I need to move around the way I want to move around. I don't have time to be trying to.
Yeah. But when you're doing your job, or and I think I would have to say, when you are a certain age, if you're a young adult, you're just starting your career, you tend to have to, you can't require the job to work around your vacation schedule. But if you're seasoned kids or adults, and they're going into, you're going into closer to retirement age, you gotta be able to say, hey, you know what? I got 127 days I haven't used. Take some time off, and have a hopefully a position or a boss that understands that you got to use, because
what helps also with your vacation is when individuals work at home. If you work at home and you can go wherever, domestic, you can work wherever you're going. International may be a little trouble because they don't. Some jobs don't want you to be logged into
And I've tried that before, and I was told that I couldn't work remote internationally, but I could work remote within the United States. And then I would say too, a lot of people plan, like at the beginning of the year, they start planning their vacation out. Then they may tell their company, it may be a little bit flexible, but I know I need a week off in November. I know I need a week off in October. So they can kind of start. It's a good idea to look throughout the year and start trying to plan. Just like you would maximize your days, you would plan your vacation.
Yeah. And I have to go back and say, when you do have that flexibility of working at home and you decide to work outside the country, you have to be able to, at least coordinate the time zones. Because, why I feel take time off, because I don't want to have to wake up in the middle of the night to get on a phone call when I know we're going to go ready to do an excursion in about 3 hours. That was kind of one of the reasons why I'm just going to take that time off, because it wasn't going to work well with my work at home schedule.
That's just something to consider. So you just got to look at that and see if if it would work out for you or not. Depending on the time zone.
Yeah, and one thing that I fall into, because I'm an independent contractor and I work for clients, their schedule. I work for
yeah, you sure do have to consider your
and they take 2 weeks off during
Mhm.
religious holidays. So a week off during Easter, so those are times when I don't have the autonomy to say I'm gonna take vacation days. It's kind of like lose it. It's like either I have to have prepared financially for the time I'm not working, or I have to coordinate some trips during that time.
Yeah.
Like during the Christmas holidays, during Easter and things like that. I already know in advance that the company is closed, so they're not paying their contract at that time. So those are other things that you have to know, understand those pieces, being in a contract world.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you all say about a lot of the, we've talked about maximizing your PTO, but this incident, these accidents that are happening, the one in New Orleans, there was another one in New York,
Las Vegas.
Yes, people traveling, and what's the advice?
Okay, so I heard of the New Orleans one. Like, how do you keep safe?
Yeah,
I mean, you never know what
especially on New Year's Eve or big events.
New Year's Eve. I mean, that I don't really like to go anywhere New Year's Eve. I just like to stay home.
Yeah.
Personally.
When you go into any large crowd, I don't care if it's Mardi Gras or large sporting events, concerts, you always run the risk that we don't know who are around us, and we can only, I'm going to always say you gotta pray that you pray for safety and pray that people are going to not harm others for no apparent reason. So I think that sometimes those incidents are so unfortunate for us, but I also say that I'm gonna keep saying, keep your head on the swivel. That's my favorite thing. But also, when you see something, you got to say something, because there is always something that didn't seem right, and we've seen it before. And we just, we kind of go by. Like, I think for this last incident, they were putting like these devices inside of a cooler that people were just actually just looking at and not even saying, this don't look right. Somebody could have said, call the police over and say, why is this cell phone sitting randomly in a cooler? And everybody just kind of walking by and looking at it and not, taking into account that be going
this
on.
Is strange. And
so what did that happen at? Is that
New Orleans? In New Orleans, that perpetrator was putting IUD devices in a cooler, and people were walking. That's why the FBI is asking people, if you were one of those people who walked by with this cooler, I don't know how they were going to be detonated, or if they were just, I'm hiding my cell phone. Why would you not say anything? Because if I see somebody like with the incident with the United Healthcare guy walking around, suspicious with, a hat and a overcoat on in the summertime, something like that, or wearing with a backpack or hanging around a mailbox, I'm going to be like, what's going on here? I may bump a police officer. You probably need to go check that out.
One thing that I do, and I did this for when I went out for New Year's Eve, and I do it when I'm going out really anytime at night. I try to be on my way back home be at home by 1 o'clock, because I will always tell you, nothing good happens really after 2 a.m.
Right.
That's pretty much. So when I went out for New Year's Eve, but I was back in by 1 a.m. and I left where I was at probably around 12:30, 12:40 and headed back home, because it's it's just better to be. This incident in New Orleans happened at 3 a.m. and I follow a guy on TikTok who was actually out there, and he kept saying, it's something telling me to leave. It's something telling me to leave. I feel like I need to leave. And he left probably around 1:30, and this happened at 3.
Yeah, and I mean, you can go back to an incident when we went to a college football game. And so, your son had played in this game.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, in our hotel room, we're hearing good. So so you can, and that wasn't 1 o'clock in the evening. 1 o'clock.
No.
That was 1 o'clock at night. Now maybe 10 o'clock at night. And it's like, you know, we can't live in fear. We can't live in fear, but we also have to, you know, just use some common sense on some things. When you gather on Bourbon Street, and I'm going to say, people are drinking, they acting a fool, they're you know, doing things that they wouldn't normally do. And you always conscious about that. And I always have that Mardi Gras mentality. The purpose of Mardi Gras is like a kind of like a Day of the Dead, a day of evil. And you know, celebrate it like, you know, it's a festival of events. But this is kind of before the Lenten season when people go and
they do. Yeah.
You're gonna go out to a Mardi Gras parade, you know, you can't be thinking, oh, everybody gonna be on their best behavior.
They're not.
There's just things in their head that they want to do because they think they can get away with it. But all about
it's sad.
It's all about
sad, but you know, things happen.
You never know.
We just got to be cautious.
But I mean, even going to a football game, sometimes, you know, you see how people break out in fights for
you're
not even getting paid for this. So why you gonna fight with another fan about a team who, you know, do you have no dime in that quarter? So why in the world would you even do that? So I just tell you, people are on edge, and a new year means some new things for some people, and some people have good ideas, and some people got some bad ideas, and you know, I'm always gonna be like wondering who next to me.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, but it's going to be, you know, I think that 2025, you know, I'm always looking for the best of the year. And I'm always going to say 2024, I had a great year. I always look at all the great things that happen. I don't dwell on any of the negative, but I'm looking at 2025 to be even awesome.
Yep.
Me too. It'll be a blessed year.
It'll be a great year for the Jet Setting Divas 2025.
Get ready, travel.
I'm Jeanette.
And I'm Yvette.
And I'm Tina, and we are the Jet Setting Divas.
Tune in next Thursday when the Jet Setting Divas will tell you about another fun destination spot that you'll want to visit. For more on their excursions, log on to ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com.
You know Shaletta makes you laugh, but did you know Shaletta Brundage can also make you think and boost your business? Media personality, activist, and comedian Shaletta Brundage founded Shaletta Makes Me Laugh to celebrate and share the best of Black culture. It's a podcasting platform. You can download 10 weekly podcasts hosted by African-American subject experts at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com is also a production house, creating broadcast quality commercial content. And Shaletta and her team of storytellers create powerful promotional campaigns to get businesses the brand awareness they're looking for. Some of Minnesota's top businesses trust Shaletta, and you can too. Get out the word about your events and products and get in front of communities of color with ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. She's got the power to help your business.